Okay. So excited that you guys are on the call tonight. So it's January 4th. It's our first official call for 2017. I'm super excited about what we're going to talk about tonight. It means a lot to me in terms of the content, just based on the year that I had, and I know the year that other coaches on this call had. So I think it's going to be great to sort of share what we went through as a team and how we can prepare for 2017. So I hope that you find value out of it. I'm going to say right now that most of this content has come from my personal development that I've done over the past 2 months. I have been diving into John Maxwell and Darren Hardy. I know if you are on this call and you've already gone through Getting Started Right, you've read or listened to The Compound Effect. Darren Hardy has a book called The Entrepreneurial Roller Coaster. Has anybody read that? Nope. Okay, so that's a definite good one to put on your list. I'm not all the way through it, but it made for great listening as I was tearing through closets and cleaning up the other night. So Mentoring 101 by John Maxwell is another book that I'm reading, and so I just can't talk enough about how much personal development I think makes such an impact on the way that we can be leaders to our clients, our challengers, our coaches, our teams. So we'll highlight more about that in a second. But first we're going to get to recognition, and then we're also going to get to a couple announcements before we get started. So I'm going to start first with Megan Jones, and super excited about this one because this is what I'm most excited about. So Megan's team has really grown a ton over the past year. And with growth, and we're going to talk a little bit about this in our call tonight, with growth, and the longer you do this, the more challenges and setbacks come. And when you are trying to qualify, once you're a diamond and you go for your star diamonds, you have to qualify for 6 weeks straight in order to get your qualification. So if for some reason one of your diamond coaches loses diamond rank in that 6 weeks time, then you have to start all the way over. So what I love about this is that Megan was in this qualification period for, I want to say it was 12 or 13 weeks. So it wasn't just the 6 week period, but these are the best ones because now Megan can coach other coaches on what it feels like to have to really wait for that qualification. Because some qualifications come at 6 weeks, and other qualifications, you get all kinds of things that happen, like bags of Shakeology get postponed, or someone goes on vacation, or someone by accident loses rank because they don't have enough PV. So Megan and Nicole worked really hard at this accomplishment for their team, and so I think it's super special that it didn't happen in 6 weeks, and that it was a little bit more of a juggling act in order to get here. So awesome job to Megan and Nicole and the whole Strong is the New Skinny team. So awesome job. Really, really proud of you. Great way to start 2017. All right, and I'm going to turn it over to poor Nicole, if she's got a voice, to talk a little bit about Judy. Are you able to do that, Nicole? Megan, do you want to chime in?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if I don't know, is Nicole on?
She is, but
okay. I know she's sick. Okay. Yeah, so Judy is amazing. She had this ridiculous transformation, first of all. I mean, when I posted that picture, I had 5 people message me that day and say how inspired they were. But she's just one of those people that hit the ground running, and is now going to be coaching with us again for the second challenge group in a row, and just took what she learned from Nicole and Nicole's amazing coaching, and just got started and has awesome energy and is really a great member of our team.
Awesome. It's been fun to watch. It's really great energy that you guys have going. So awesome job, and congratulations to Judy. That's so exciting. Okay, Alicia, can I turn it over to you real quick to talk about Lexi?
Sure. So Lexi is actually a former coworker of mine that came into a group through a discount coach. And the discount coach was not interested in necessarily helping Lexi grow into a selling coach, but Lexi started just wanting to help people. which is great, like a lot of us. And then she started to realize what I'm sorry, 1 second, bud. Sorry. What a success starter looks like. And she was pretty inspired, the opportunity to go to Summit. And she's actually going to be joining us next week, which is great. She knows that a lot of stuff's coming out of her pocket, but she's excited, and we're going to just bunk up in a hotel room. But Lexi has a recruiting background. She's been recruiting for her job for a long time. So I think this is going to come very naturally to her. Again, with setbacks, of course, but she is a true believer. She's a product of the product, which is awesome. So I'm really excited to work with her.
Yes. And it's sort of a long story, but Lexi was actually in my challenge group, not Alicia's challenge group, the last time we did a group. And so Lexi and Alicia are working together, but Lexi actually won the Team Spirit Award. She did such a good job just inspiring other challengers, and she has got the it factor when it comes to being able to really get people inspired and excited about doing their workout. So that's awesome. Okay, so awesome job on recognition. I'm going to move over to announcements. Everybody knows that I'm actually just going to mute everybody if that's okay, because it's got bad echo. Let's see, I don't know how to do that.
Trace, if you go into the participants,
Yep.
you could go in there and then scroll down.
Yo, you're awesome. Cool. Yeah. Thank you, Kira. Okay, so you guys will just have to use the little chat feature. Okay, Health Bet, you guys all know we've got pretty much starting all of our pre-work for the Health Bet, so I'm just going to blow right past that. Okay, this is kind of cool. I want to talk about this and just see if it generates anything in our team. But I'm thinking about starting a 5-day revival group is what I'm going to call it, just the revival. And it's obviously going to depend on participants, but I think in order for it to be worth our time, it would need to be 5 to 7 people. And this particular group would be for any coach who went through Getting Started Right training last year, or any discount coach who was a hobby coach that may have an interest in restarting. And the reason I want to kind of tap into this, and Faithfully Fit Tracy is going to get us a list. She's going to post it on the Poach page. She's going to give us a list of anybody that went through the Getting Started Right training in 2016, because believe it or not, there's lots of coaches that went through it whose coach might not be coaching anymore, and somebody might recognize that name. And January is just such a month of restarting, and people are just motivated, as you all know, and excited, and it's a good time to bring up these conversations again with some of these people. And in fact, before I even put this slide up in the PowerPoint, I had a woman, and she never went through Getting Started Right, but she hit Success Club maybe 2 months out of last year, just sort of dabbled in it, and she reached out to me about something, and I asked her if she'd be interested in revisiting, and she's like, you know what, I think I would. And the timing wasn't right for her the last time she dabbled, and now the timing might be right for her. So it would be a group that would be 5 days. It would be probably in 2 weeks' time, maybe 3 weeks, and then they could roll into a Getting Started Right. I don't have the content, and I haven't spent time on the content until I know if we're doing the group. I don't really want to put a lot of time into it, but it's not going to be all me. Like if Kira has people, if Suzanne has people, if Heidi has people, whoever, you would probably do a video. I'd make Kira go live, of course. But you'd probably do a video or some sort of interaction to help with re-engagement. It'd probably be a little bit about just what being an entrepreneur is like, some of the struggles, what's beneficial, like what we're going to talk about tonight. What is it that, why you do it, and how does it help you, and what your stories are. And obviously the longer that this team continues to coach, the more stories you have. So if you have people that you think might be interested in this, please comment tomorrow when Tracy puts the list up of Getting Started Right graduates from 2016, and just let us know if you have somebody that might be in mind, to see if we even can throw this out there as a possibility. Any comments on that? No? Okay. Okay, the Diamonds Retreat, January 20th through the 22nd. RSVPs were closed today. I know. How exciting. I'm super pumped about this because now that we have the exact amount of people and who's getting what done, I can actually put something together. I will give you guys an agenda. My calendar's upstairs, but I will give you guys an agenda. Just on a separate side note, you should be keeping agendas anytime you travel to Summit or Platinum Edge or like this retreat. The agendas are important just in the event, knock on wood, if anybody ever got audited. It's just nice to be able, if you're doing this as a business meeting and you have business expenses that you are going to incur and write off, you need an agenda. So I will get you guys an agenda and an itinerary. And I'm so looking forward to spending time with you guys. I think the number is 16. I think there's 16 of us. So totally blew my mind in terms of how many of you wanted to come. So that's such an honor. And I really take it seriously that everyone who's coming is taking time away from their personal lives and their family. And I know that a lot of you are like moving mountains in order to come, because I know what it's like to leave for a couple of days. So I can't thank you enough for that. And I just want you to know how seriously I take it. And I just hope that the content is valuable. And so I'm putting a lot of thought and time into making sure that you leave that weekend feeling like you got my best. So take it really seriously. I get choked up thinking about it. Okay, so this is sort of cheesy, but it comes from the whole stem of what we're going to talk about tonight. So all you need is love for 2017. We are going to talk about passion, about what we do. And really, I want to talk about if you don't feel like there's passion for what you do, you might be looking in the wrong place. And why do I want to talk about this is because I know I can probably think of like 4 of you off the top of my head. I'm not going to throw you out there. But a lot, including myself, it was a really tough year last year. It was a great year. Our team had crazy growth. There were rank advancements all over the place. I think we went from 230 coaches to almost 500. We came in at 496, so just shy of 500 coaches on our team. So that was crazy, crazy growth. But I did find myself for a period of about 3 months during 2016 struggling. Mentally struggling. I didn't have my mojo. I was discouraged. I was questioning whether or not I was doing the right thing. Am I taking too much time away from my family? Is this going anywhere? Is what I do matter? All of those things that I think are pretty normal. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to sort of prepare yourself to combat that, because you're not human if it doesn't happen. And when you start a business, there are going to be lots of highs and lows, and we've got to be ready and prepared for the successes and for when we have to dig our feet in and really come out of those times that we feel like we're failing. So before I get to that, let's talk for a second about what you've already done to prepare. So you might want to get out your notebook and your pencil to write some of this stuff down. So I did a lot of this with my personally sponsored coach. So if you have not done some of these things we're going to talk about, don't panic. We're only at January 4th. Get with your personally sponsored coach and just take time over the next week or two to do this. But you want to make sure that you review your trends from 2016. So like, what does that mean? Okay. Like what were your Success Club trends? You can go back and look. If you go into my qualifications, my Success Club, you can actually run a report on your personal Success Club for all of 2016 to see not only what your number was every month of the year, but who you brought on, who were the customers and who were the coaches that gave you those points. That's a great trend to look at. Go back and just take a glance at your social media. Scroll through your own social media. Are you telling a story? Are you providing value? Are you providing content? Other trends you can look at are obviously your volume or your own team volume. What was that in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter? And our back office has all the capabilities to run those reports. So if you are a report person, you can figure it out on your own. You can message me. I can tell you how I do it. This is one of the things that I outsource. I'm not a report girl, but I do like to scrub data because I like to set goals around it. So review your trends from 2016. 2017, your goals should be set. and they should be posted visibly. If you've just got them sitting in like your note section of your iPhone, those aren't goals. So you want to make sure that you actually take the time to write your goals out. Just so you guys know, my goals are not done yet. I have probably 80% of them, but they're still in my book. I'm still working on them. But my goal is to have my goals done by Friday. And then you want to set action items around each goal. So if you want to be a 5-star diamond coach by the end of the year, then you need to know about when you need to be having rank advancements, which quarter, who might those rank advancements be. And if you're looking at your downline and you're like, I don't really see anybody that can become a diamond, then you need to set some tangible goals around recruiting. So again, you just sort of figure out what your goals are and work backwards. And I've done most of this with my personally sponsored coaches. If you have not done this or you need help, I'm happy to give you a little bit of direction with your personally sponsored coach involved. You want to set your calendar for your first quarter. So I did a video about this. I'm super passionate about this in particular. And what I like to see on calendars is you as a coach, what is your personal workout program you're doing for the quarter? Make yourself accountable to it. Don't go down to your basement or go push play. My husband did this morning. I was like, today's leg day. And he's like, I don't feel like doing that. And I'm like, well, that's what's on the schedule. And he's like, I don't want to do that. I'm like, okay, well, do you want to switch out Pilates? He's like, I don't want to do that either. I'm like, what do you want to do? And he wanted to do like something totally easy, right? Or he wanted to do like something that was not even in the program we're doing. We're doing 21 Day Fix Extreme. He wanted to do like a Body Beast arms. I was like, no, we're doing legs, dude. I'm pushing play. You either do it now or go get in the shower. So you want to be accountable to it. So you want to have it penciled in, your challenge groups, your freemiums, and your CTAs, so you can work backward. And I'm going to show you a really quick glance at my calendar so you can peek at it. And then you want to decide what you want to outsource. One of the things I loved most about the leadership retreat that I just went to in California, Allie Upham talked about when she was making $500 a month, she was outsourcing 2 hours a week. So you find someone for $10, $12. Faithfully Fit Tracy is training somebody, her sister-in-law, $10, $11 an hour. Pay somebody that $20, that $22 to take 2 hours of report running or images or challenge group maintenance off your plate so that you can do things that you're passionate about and that are going to move your business forward. And again, I promise we're going to get into passion in a second. Okay, so not going to spend a ton of time, but a few of you have asked to see my calendar. So as you can see, I've got the Health Bet. I don't know if you guys can see my cursor, but my Health Bet starts on January 9th. So does my Hammer and Chisel Core to Force. That's my personal program. I already have the hybrid. I already have the calendar printed out. So that is what the program that I'm doing at 60 days. So my Health Bet, as you can see, goes for 4 weeks. And what I did is I went backward. December was all like Health Bet call to actions. The last Health Bet call to action I did was I moved it from the 2nd to the 3rd, just from the trends that I was seeing with my audience on social media. So let's look at the next thing. The 23rd, I'm doing a freemium. It was going to be anti-inflammatory, but I'm changing it to a different one. So where you see AI freemium is anti-inflammatory, I worked backward to talk about when I was going to be doing those call to actions. So every time I pencil in a group, as you can see, I'm doing another challenge group on the 30th. It's called Love Yourself, Love Your Body. It's going to end around Valentine's Day. So once I get it all on the schedule, then I work backward. And then the green circles is where I have my call to actions, because it eliminates me sitting down on a Sunday night with my family on the 15th, and all of a sudden it's 5 o'clock and I'm like, I need to get a call to action up before 8 o'clock. That's what I did for a long time. And now I know when I sit down on Monday the 9th and I pull out my business activity tracker, because I'm so anal about using this, I write down at the very bottom which post is going to go up the next day. So I know that Saturday night I have to have, it's already written in here, I have to have my freemium done. I need to make a decision on what my freemium is going to be. And I have my call to action. It's already written out. The image is already done before my workday finishes on Saturday, so that Sunday night I'm bathing the kids, I go to get their towels, I copy, I paste, I post, I'm done. And I just come back when I'm not having family time. So it's the same thing. For February, I'm doing a Fababuary challenge group. And there's a freemium in here, a bikini bottom boot camp. So you can see, and then I work backwards. I'm doing a freemium about savory spring salads in March. And so I worked backward on when I was going to be doing all those. And then I wrote down where my spring breaks were, when all the people were going to be out of school locally, so that I could figure out when I was going to do my groups. Okay. Any questions on that? Take you guys off mute.
Hey Tracy,
Yeah.
this is Suzanne.
Hi.
Hi. When you have, can you go back to your calendar for a second?
Mm-hmm. Oops. Okay.
All right. So when you, right there, when you say you're going to have a Fab Ab challenge group, or you're going to have that Love Yourself challenge group,
Yep.
that's separate from the challenge groups we're all doing as a team. You're just doing a separate, you're the only one running it, or what do you mean by that?
So like on the 13th is when the Fababuary group starts. So I would put in the shared Google Drive that I'm doing a group on the 13th, and whoever wants to add people
Got
to
it.
the roster can.
Got it. But so your workout on that group would be strictly around ab workouts. You're going to create something that's focused abs, or what does that mean?
It would probably be, it's really just how I'm going to market it, Suzanne. So I'm really like, for me, it's just like, that's how
That's what you've named it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
But I probably would do a little ab kicker. Like I'd probably make everyone do extra ab work for that group.
Well, now that we have all the access, it could be really interesting to be able to pull from all these workouts now to like make a really intense ab workout.
Exactly. Actually, I just did 10-minute trainer ab. Have you guys ever done that? The 10-minute trainer ab workout with Tony Horton? Holy cow. I mean, first of all, he's like 20 years younger. I'm like, who is that guy? Is that really Tony? And it is. And that ab, I mean, it's 10 minutes and I couldn't get through it.
Wow.
And that's after Core de Force for 30 days. And I feel like that was a pretty good ab challenge. Okay. Any questions on that?
I just have a question about freemiums. I've asked this before to different people, but when you're did you do these freemiums that you're planning to do? Because planning a quarter of freemiums, I stress about a freemium a month ahead, like making the content for it and stuff. I despise reusing the same material. Are you using the same material and refreshing it? Or are you just using the same from last year?
So that's a really good question. I spent a lot of time, I'd say last year and the year before, writing content. And I had the same like, ooh, I can't use the same stuff. And I finally got over that after 2 years of writing content over and over again, because that's not my jam. I don't like writing content. And now that I have a like page, I feel like I get different audiences every time. So I don't really market. I will market my freemiums like once or twice on my personal page, but I don't necessarily want like my neighbor in my freemium because they've already done them all. Do you know what I mean? When I first did all my freemiums, and I don't want to keep writing new content. I do think it's important to change up recipes, and Suzanne and I did an autoimmune one, and her content is amazing. I know she would share it, but the stuff that she came up with from a nutritional standpoint, like it's just too good to keep changing. So I will say, like, I'll do another autoimmune, probably not in the first quarter, because I did 2 of them last quarter because I felt like it was so good. And I told the people the second time I ran it, like, this is the same content. You're not going to get fresh content until 2017, but feel free to invite a friend. But the cool thing is, Laura, like, I have a Fixate freemium. I've got a water challenge. I've got a 5-day clean eating. Like, in terms of this team, all the freemiums are in the file section of the Poach page. So use someone else's content, right? So, you know, you can use anything that I have. I've taken some stuff from Allison Brinkley before. I'm getting together with another coach locally who actually, Melanie Mitro is her personally sponsored coach. And we've talked about sharing content. So just kind of don't reinvent the wheel, but if doing the same stuff is boring or against your own grain, you can probably get around it. Okay. So your words, you guys. So this was so much fun. So last year we did it live on our Zoom call. And I'm going to post this in the Poach page so that any of you guys can use it if you want. I love the way that the graphics girl did this image, and I love all of these words. I just think they're so awesome, and they're so fitting for so many of you guys. So what does that word mean? So I want to tie that into passion and what we're going to talk about tonight as I keep kind of rallying up to what we're going to discuss. So we're going to talk about achieving success and blank. Like, what is your blank? Your blank is whatever that word is that you gave us. So how committed are you to your goals? How hard are you willing to work for them? And then do you have a clear vision on how you're going to achieve them? And I'll be honest with you guys, like the whole vision piece and the whole, like, what is your why? That stressed me out for a really long time as a coach, because I had a very hard time figuring out what my why was. I was like, honestly, I just don't want to have love handles on my jeans anymore. That's like as simple as it is. And it has evolved, but I've had to do a lot of personal development on my why. And I remember sitting at Platinum Edge and like literally having like a mini panic attack. And I was having coffee with just Heidi right before we left. And I was like, it's not that I don't know what I'm good at, but like the whole Platinum Edge was talking about like, you know, what makes you you, and sharing it, and, you know, using that as your brand. And I started to get more and more stressed because I was like, I'm having a hard time figuring out what makes me unique. And that, you know, yes, I have my own unique qualities, but I don't feel like they're really any different than any of the people sitting on this row in our team. And so I sometimes struggled a little bit with the vision and the clarity of how to use a why until I got to this book and I had a lot of aha moments. So I want to talk about success and your word, but I also want to talk about and be super clear, especially if you've been coaching for 1 year, really even 6 months. It gets more and more rewarding, but it gets harder, you guys. The failing forward gets harder, and you just have to be prepared for how to pick yourself up. And that's the beauty of it, is that it gets harder in a different way, and it becomes more of a mental game, and how disciplined you can be with your mental state on being able to push through some of the challenges that are going to occur. And like, what do I mean by that? Okay, well, I mean, like, you might get a coach that's like one coach away from diamond, and they tell you they're going to take a step back from the business. Anytime someone says they're going to take a step back from the business, most likely they're not coming back. Just they can be revived. I know that there have been great coaches that have been revived. In my experience, I've probably had, 10 to 15 coaches tell me they're going to take a step back, and not one of them has come back. So maybe one of them will and blow me away. Or you get that challenger that goes through like 3 challenge groups with you and has an amazing transformation, and then tells you that they don't need your challenge groups anymore. They're going to do it on their own. And then they go on their own and they sort of distance themselves, and all of a sudden you get that email where they're canceling their account, and you didn't even have a conversation, and you're like, oh, sock in the gut. Like, I helped this person. I went to this person's kitchen. We made food together. We meal planned together. This person lost 35 pounds, and I don't even have a discussion with this person about the fact that they're quitting their account. Little things like that, that if you're not prepared about these things, to realize that most of the time it's not you. Most of the time, it's something that's going on with them. Those discouragements and those setbacks can really play a mental game on you. So I always say to my husband, I'm like, you got to kiss a lot of toads before you find your princess. And in our case, you got to kiss a lot of toads before you find your prince. You have to have a lot of challengers to find your superstar challengers. And you've got to work with a lot of coaches in order to find the ones that are going to lock arms and run with you. And they're out there. You just have to keep kissing your toads. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm talking about. But how do we stay engaged? How do we stay focused? How do we stay committed? How do we stay disciplined? How do we keep figuring out how to reinvent the wheel and keep ourselves creative with our jobs? Because we do, as coaches, have to keep reinventing ourselves. We can't keep doing the same post on social media thinking that it's going to keep growing our social media. You got to keep switching it up. So the only way to do great work is to love what you do, by Steve Jobs. I love that. And I'll tell you right off the bat, I don't love every aspect of coaching. And I bet you guys don't either. So we're going to talk about what that means. So I love the Beatles. The lyrics of All You Need Is Love is so great. I would love for you guys to Google it and just read the lyrics, because it talks about like what you are looking for, you already see, and where you are is where you're supposed to be. You just have to put the work in order to find the passion and the love that is going to keep you in your job. So what does success require, right? It requires grind, it requires dedication, it requires work ethic, and it requires passion and love for what you do. But what if you get to a point and you're like, I don't know if I love the job? So let's talk about that for a second, because I think that there's a lot of different switches that we can turn on in order to figure it out. So you have to love what you do, because love and passion makes you do crazy things, and it takes crazy to be successful. So I think about my daughter, right? My daughter does 800 cartwheels in our house a day. I'm not over exaggerating. She does cartwheels in the bathtub. She does cartwheels in the hallway. She does them everywhere. But the girl is willing to just try different things, because she's got this whole mindset that she's going to win a gold medal. She's going to win a gold medal in 2024. That's her thing. She'll do crazy things to go out. She'll go outside in the snow. She'll practice cartwheels out there to make sure that, you know, her hands can handle the balance beam. She just does crazy things when it comes to gymnastics, but that's what her passion is. So you think about different crazy things that you've done in order to be successful as a mom, right? Or in your current job right now, crazy all-nighters. I remember pulling all-nighters in my corporate office to get a report out because I wanted it to be so good, because I was passionate about the people I was working with. Or, you know, some of you guys I know are kicking off this year. You're working like crazy, crazy, crazy hours getting all of your people onboarded or recruiting coaches. You do crazy things when you're passionate about it. What if you don't feel that passion? That's what I want to talk about. So we want to be passionate about what we do. We want to find out what matters. So many times people are like, oh, I just need to find my passion. Here's the thing. You don't find it. It's already in us. So I love Darren Hardy's quote that it's already in us. Even when your light switch is turned off, the electricity is still on. And passion is your electricity. So flip your switch on. It's so basic, but it's so mind-blowing to me at the same time too, that when I think about when I was going through like the biggest rut, right? It was a personal rut. It was a business rut. It was am I going to do this? Am I going to keep, like, I got to make a commitment here. I've been doing this for 2 years. Am I going to keep going? Am I going to pull back? What am I doing? I just don't feel it right now. Well, it was always in there. I just had to reshift my focus, and I had to become very disciplined with my mental state. So there's 4 light switches to turn your passion on, and it's different. It's a different switch for each of us. Here's the thing. Most of us go to only one switch. Okay. So listen up for this part. So we want to find the switch that works for us. The switch that most of us go to is the what, right? Most of us are like, we want to be passionate about what we do. And for some people, this is your switch. And 95% of people go to this switch, but it's not really their switch, right? It's the most popular one, but you have to be wary of it. So think of it this way. Think about like a celebrity, right? So my girls love Taylor Swift, okay? And they always talk about like how pretty she is, how she gets to wear these pretty clothes, and she gets to do these concerts, and how great it is to be a celebrity. But I guarantee that 95% of the things that she's doing in terms of travel or rehearsals or meeting with people or meeting with her agents or having to negotiate contracts, probably 95% of what she does sucks, right? And unless she's on stage doing what she is passionate about, probably 95% of what she does sucks. Guess what? 95% of sort of what we do sometimes sucks. I just sat here with all the challenge group Excel sheets, figuring out, reconfiguring people, and I'm like, oh, like this is not my jam. I don't like doing this. I just told Laura I don't like doing freemiums. I don't like doing freemiums. I have to do freemiums. They're not my thing. I don't really care for them. But there's a ton of things that I'm sure you can list about in the what part of our job that we don't like. Some people love every single aspect of coaching, and that means that for them, the what is their passion switch, right? But nothing, no matter what job you're in, can be awesome all the time. And we just want to accept that. You want to go into the year knowing that 2017 is going to have some not so awesome moments. And if you just set that expectation right, your light bulb won't burn out. right? So it's just important that we set that expectation. But if coaching is truly your hobby, if gymnastics is truly my daughter's hobby, if graphics is really your thing, if you're an Excel guru, if you love sort of, doing and creating social media posts, then coaching is going to be a hobby, and this is going to be your passion switch, the what switch. Okay, but let's talk about the other 3 switches, because not all of us are going to be what girls. Okay, another switch, switch number 2, being passionate about why you do it. So if you are passionate about your why, then it should outshine your what. So you have to be really clear on your why, right? So I told you guys earlier that it took me a little bit of time to figure out what my why was. And it really was in the beginning just about fitting into my jeans. And I know that all of you guys have been coaching for a year or more. Your why has probably changed, right? And the why you do it is now different. And now, like for me, I have a certain heart for people who have an autoimmune or who have had Lyme or who have joint issues, because I know how crappy that can feel. And that has changed my audience and who I like to work with now. So my why has changed, whereas 2 years ago, it was going after the new mama who was also like me, postpartum and trying to lose the extra weight. So your why is going to change. But if you don't love what you do, then your why will outshine it. But just know that it's okay that your why keeps on changing. And it's okay, you guys, if you still don't know what your why is. I'm still figuring mine out, and I'm 2.5 years into it, okay? But the other 2 switches are where my jam is, and they might be yours too. And then it makes you feel a little bit better if you're one of those people that's like, I don't really know what my why is. Or maybe my why is just so normal. It's not like the girls that stand up at Summit and talk about how like they went from living out of their car to living in their, 5-bedroom house. So there's 2 other switches about finding your passion. So switch number 3 is being passionate about how you do things. So I think about my cleaning lady. Her name is Ariane. And Ariane comes into this house that I literally like clean before she gets here. Do you know how you guys do that? You want to make sure that she doesn't really think that you're a slob. So you're like picking up, I'm like wiping toothpaste out of the sink, I'm like taking the brush and getting like Brody's poop stains out of the bowl. I mean, she cannot think I live like this, right? But she doesn't care. She comes in, she's humming, she's singing, she's got the little toothbrush, she's scrubbing mold and mildew out of the shower. She's like, she doesn't care. And I can thank her a million times for what she does, but she's not doing it for me. She's doing it because she finds joy in the how. What she does and how she does it is what brings her joy. So maybe when it comes to coaching, it's the how for you. Maybe it is the one-on-one conversations. I think about like Tanya. Tanya's like, I don't like to do the social media. I want to go to people's houses, or she wants to have open houses at her own house and, show people the containers and show people the flank steaks that she makes and that she cuts up and serves up. Like she loves the how, and she finds joy in that. And there's a million things that we can do as coaches that can show you the how, and that can bring a lot of joy. So maybe the how is your switch, right? Maybe it's not so much the why, but it's how you coach. People who are driven by the how raise the excellence of level around them. Like think about those people. Like if you're sitting next to someone on an airplane and you see them like, reading a book and they're highlighting and making little notes, you're like, wow, they are really getting into that book, as you're just like scanning yours and kind of not thinking about it. They make you kind of dig into your book a little bit more. So people who are passionate about this switch raise the level of excellence around them. And that's one of the cool things about being a how person. Last, being passionate about who you do it for. Who does this benefit outside of yourself, right? So maybe you're doing this because you truly have a financial need in your family and you're helping out your kids, your parents, your siblings, your husband, so that he's not the one carrying the entire weight. Maybe you're doing this because like your first 5 challenges were family members that like had diabetes and really needed to lose weight, right? Maybe you're doing it for just the fact that you have a huge passion for people and that's your thing. Like a Juliet who's like dying to get out there and teach fitness classes because she wants to help that mama that just feels nasty and it's been 15 years since she's had a baby. That's like her market, is those women in their 50s, and she is passionate about that group of people. So if you refocus your mind and your intention on who you do this for, or what you do this for, or why you do this, or how you do this, and that's where you keep your focus, I promise your passion will become re-engaged. You just have to figure out what your light switch is. Okay, so flipping your correct switch, you guys, is going to give you the adrenaline and the passion that you need to persevere. And I wanted to spend some time talking about these 4 switches and talking about how important passion is and how to find it, because you will get to a point where you're like, oh, where is it? Where is it? I'm not feeling it. And, you know, for some people, this job isn't for everyone. So I should have said that in the beginning. There are people that truly, good friends of mine, who have left this team because they don't feel like they fit in any of the 4 switches when it comes to coaching. And that's okay. It's our job to help people figure that out so that they can go find what they're passionate about. But if there is something in coaching that keeps you here and that drew you to it, and that is what you really love, you need to know what your switch is so that you can really dive into that when you get to a point where you're like, where is my passion? And you just have to remember that it's there. It's your electric current. You just have to turn on your switch. Okay, so that is really, how am I doing on time? Oh, I got 9:46. Pretty proud of myself. It's not even 10 yet. Anyone have anything? Any comments? Let's see if I can take you guys all off mute. And Kira can't tell me because I've muted her and I don't know where
You can unmute yourself automatically.
Perfect. Okay.
Just like usual.
Good. Okay. Anyone have anything?
No, just thank you for doing that, because it really spoke to me, because I'm still struggling with my why.
Yes,
So.
that's normal. That's normal. Good. I hope so.
I love how you said it's like an electrical current and it's always there.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
so true.
Darren Hardy said it. I just copied it for this.
I love that.
Yeah. So I'm not done with the book yet, but it's a great book. The whole book kind of talks to the roller coasters of the job. And, you know, go talk to anybody that's in any business on their own, and they're going to tell you, right, it's this. So it's a matter of how you come out of the lows. But I will say that when I came out of my 3-month, I don't even know what to call it. It was just a bad place. I did fail forward, and I came out, and the most growth always happens when we're in those spots, right? When you start to feel momentum building and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm coming out of it. And then you can look back and see what you learned. And that's a pretty cool experience. So they end up being gifts and blessings in themselves. Are you, Heidi, we can't hear you. You on mute?
Sorry.
That's
I thought
okay.
you read my lips the whole time.
Okay.
So I was just thinking how helpful this is as we're bringing on new coaches to kind of figure out with them, even though it will change so many times, like my why's changed multiple times. But thinking about is it the what, do they have a why yet? Is it the how, just to kind of figure out with them which one it is. That's kind of a great exercise to do with them.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like a love language.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of like how is each person motivated. And it is important to know that, because I feel like Beachbody as a whole talks so much about the why. And if you're not a why person, you can sit there and start to get a little bit worried that you're not going to do a good job trying to clarify who you are as a coach. But it doesn't necessarily have to be all about the why.
Yeah. You hear a lot of times you ask coaches, what do you like about coaching? They're like, or what do you want to do? What is your why? Well, I just want to help people. You hear that all the time, but it's so much deeper than that. So this kind of helps me think, well, what is it about coaching that you enjoy? Or if they do love the how, understanding what that is, so you kind of can help them in those areas even more.
Right.
So again, just make it better.
Yeah. And finding out in those areas, what are the business driving activities, right? Because if they don't have success or they're not driving their business forward, they're not going to stay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Good. It's a good book. Okay, you guys. Well, I'm excited about 2017. I will see you guys in 2 weeks. I've loved the one-on-one calls that I've had with a lot of you, and I just love the momentum. So many of your teams are like on fuego, so that's exciting to see from afar. I love it. I love seeing it all duplicate and you guys experiencing like joy as you build your team. So have a good night, and thank you guys for your time.
Thank you. Bye, guys. See you in a couple weeks.
Thanks, Tracy.
Bye. Thanks, guys.